Hi everybody, this is Jessica with Be You Bloom. So let's talk about a workshop that is one of my most popular, and I actually really enjoy teaching it because it's not only applicable to your personal relationship, but to your friendships, to mother-child, to the workplace even, which like peer-to-peer coworkers, or even manager to employee, which is fantastic. So people who have attended this workshop tell me that immediately they were able to apply it and got great results. So let me share a little bit more about what it is. So the core of the EMP model, which was actually coined by Dr. John Kappas. He was a very successful marriage and family therapist, and he studied relationships and how people express themselves outwardly, even so much so that he would go to divorce courts and watch how people would behave and see if there were patterns. And he boiled it down to two personality types, and it's called the emo versus the physical. Now, some of you would think emotionals mean that these are people who are emotional all the time and expressing emotional output, but that's actually the opposite. The emos are people who can control their emotions because they process through it. Think of it as people who want to think logically about, does this make sense for me to feel this way? Should I say this? They take more time to process through emotions because they're thinking about it and then they're feeling it, if that makes sense to you. So for example, they may not say I love you first in a relationship because for them, there's responsibility that goes with that and they want to make sure that they can carry that. Now that happens so subconsciously, so quickly within milliseconds of thoughts that they may not be aware of that, but it's nice to know that that really is what's happening so that you don't take things so personally if they're not expressing towards you in that kind of way. Look at their actions because their actions speak louder than words actually. The physicals are much more connected to their instincts. They think if I feel that this is true, then it must be true, and be careful with that because sometimes it can actually get you into a lot of trouble. So the physicals are more feelers than they are thinkers, okay? So they feel it first and then they think about it. In a movie, if an emo and a physical were attending a movie together, the physical might be more easily moved to experience it, like to tears, for example, where the emo may say, why are you crying? It's just a movie. It's not really real. But to the physical, they got lost in the movie, and for them, it was real in that moment in time. So at a workplace, what does this look like? So I take a lot of my business background. I've been in managerial business for a long time, since my days on the East Coast all the way to the West Coast and all the clients in between. And I employ a lot of different models to come up with what I teach in my workshops. But in business, what does this look like? So the emo might be misunderstood. And let's say you have a manager that's an emotional. They may come off as blunt, direct. Some people might think they're cold, but the reality is that's not true. It's that career and being focused on the output or the productivity or a process is really important to them. So a physical is the opposite. To them, their relationships are more important to them, how they connect with people at the workplace, or even in their intimate relationships. If that is not going right, they just can't stop thinking about it when they are at work. Whereas the emotional, if work isn't right, it affects everything else in their relationships and, their exchanges. So, once you know what's important to each, you don't take it so personally and you give grace and space for that person to process through things. Or, even if you are in a disagreement, the way you handle it, a physical wants to fix it right then and there. Whereas the emotional really wants some space to process it through first before they come back and engage. So those are just some quick highlights, but it is much more extensive than that. As I said, I bring in my business background and also some of my own experiences working with different personality types. Many of you may have at an interview been given a personality test in written form, or even a link to do from the comforts of your home, on a link to answer certain personality questions so that the company can figure out where do you fit into their company culture or what roles you'd be best at. So this kind of just hones it down much more easily. And like I said, watch some of the client stories and you can see even with twin communication, where one twin is an emo and the other one's a physical, or in friendships, because it's a give and take, but you have to understand how the other one operates. Now, I want to stress this is not about relationship counseling. This is about you and about your own understanding of who you are. And what's really neat is I also teach you how to take your subdominant trait so that you can master the art of compromise, win-win, not only in your interpersonal relationships outside of work, but also in the workplace. So thank you guys so much for watching. I look forward to connecting on another video. And if you'd like to participate in one of these workshops, reach out to me at beyoubloom.com under the contacts page, or just shoot me an email and I'll let you know when one is coming up. And if you're not in Southern California and you'd like to do it over the phone, we can certainly do that as well, or like a teleconferencing or something like that, because it's really a lot of fun. All right, guys, go out there and be you bloom. Talk to you soon.